Welcome to the Fit Vegan Podcast, the show where we help you optimize your health, fitness, and mindset on a whole food, plant-based lifestyle. My name is Maxime. I am a former triathlete, powerlifter, bodybuilder, and basketball player, and I've been vegan for over 9 years. I'm also the founder and CEO of Fit Vegan Coaching, which has helped over 500 vegans from 20 different countries to completely transform their bodies and their health. I'm excited for you to hear today's episode. Let's get into the show. All right. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Fit Vegan Podcast. Today, I'm joined by a Fit Vegan superstar, Cynthia. Cynthia, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Maxime. How are you? And everyone else out there?
Good. Thank you. Very excited we get to chat today because you've had an incredible journey. There's a huge difference between your photos and also like how much you've changed from your mindset to your habits. And so just for the people listening, we'll kick it off with a big win. Like, what is your weight loss so far for the journey?
So it's been about 45 pounds.
That's huge.
I was at my all-time heaviest, at 185 pounds, and I'm now down to about 135.
Good. And so I always like to ask people what they do for work and kind of what their lifestyle obligates, because some people that are going to be listening, I'll be like, it's easy for Cynthia. She like has all the time in the world to work out and meal prep and do some of these things, but I know you have a really busy schedule.
I do. I wish I could say it was that easy, Maxime. It's not. Honestly, I do have a very busy work schedule. So my work sometimes, I travel a lot, so it takes me everywhere. Like I would go to Puerto Rico, I go to West Coast, East Coast. My job's very demanding. I also work on a salary and commission base, so there's a lot of productivity involved in that. So I'm working typically long days. There can be 12 and 14-hour days that I'm behind a desk or I'm on my phone or at my computer. So it is a very, very busy work environment that I have, but it's a very stressful work environment as well. And so it's sometimes very difficult for me or hard to find the time to incorporate fitness or exercise or nutrition. I usually find when I'm traveling, I'm eating on the run. So I'm eating a lot of prepackaged foods that are quick and convenient, things that you can grab on the way. Whether it be a bag of potato chips, it's still vegan food, but it's not the healthiest choice for you. So I'm eating a lot of that on the run as well. And so that's really I would say it's been a challenge for me because I've noticed that the weight started slowly coming on. I was always very fit, always very active when I was in my younger years, and always found the time to incorporate exercise and eating right. I was eating meat though, so I was not a vegan at the time. But I did become a vegetarian, and then also I guess what you call pescatarian. I was still eating some fish. And then I eventually started to move away from there and go to a whole plant food-based diet, which has really helped with some of the weight, but also the exercise. Really getting our bodies are meant to move, so really getting out there and moving, stepping away from my desk, pushing myself away from my desk. I think I shared with you some photos of my home office. So there's no excuse for me to say I can't get to the gym or I can't go here to work out because I literally pushed my chair away. I don't need a large footprint. I have my weights here. I have my exercise bands. I have a weight bench. I can, as long as I have enough room for squats and lunges, I'm set. So that's my motivation.
Yeah. And just for the people listening, I hope you're okay with me sharing this.
Sure.
Cynthia, you're 62 years young.
That's right. I am 62.
You lost 45 pounds, which is typically something that people would say is impossible. As you get older, the body just is the way that it is. It's going to be stuck. It's going to stay kind of in that. So where were you at before you kind of came into the program? Like what was the mindset? Where were you at physically, and what made you decide of like, I need some form of change?
Well, I guess the biggest wake up call for me was I was at a conference. I think I shared with you that photo. And being very physically active and always being thin. I was about 125, 130 pounds. So for me, that was my normal. And then over the years, of course, with the stress from work, we had a lot of family tragedies. Some situations that happened. My husband lost almost his entire family, heart disease, cancer. I had lost 2 aunts to cancer, and I lost my father to heart disease. So that was always in the back of my mind as I age as well. You get premenopausal, menopausal, weight just does not go off. You're losing muscle, you're losing bone. Women tend to lose a lot of bone as we age as well. So when you're losing muscle, your tendency to burn more fat is going away. And then you're eating the same foods. You're not eating healthy. Then the weight's going to creep on. And that's what happened to me. It slowly started to come on to where I would start noticing it. It wasn't like I woke up one morning and said, okay, I'm heavy, look at me. It was my clothes would start to fit tighter. And then I would start to go up a dress size or 2 sizes or 3 sizes, so I did go up several dress sizes, and I noticed that, and I would get very lethargic, and it just did not feel well. Just very tired. My self-esteem was at its all-time lowest. When I saw that photo that a colleague snapped of me at that booth, I said, I can't believe that I've allowed myself, to get this heavy. When there's tragedy, of course, personal tragedies and things going on in your life, your family first and foremost is the most important. So what I did was basically stepped away from everything else I was doing to support my family during that time. And so I didn't make time for myself anymore. It was all about them, and it's the way it should be.
Yeah.
But then I started noticing how tired I was with work stress. I couldn't deal with the stress as easily as I used to. Just being so run down and not feeling well. My cholesterol was always 125. It went up to 153. And although that's still within a supposedly normal range, it still went up. And I noticed that with the weight, of course, I didn't have the endurance. I didn't have the strength. I didn't have the stamina. I didn't have what, I used to run to the airport and catch another flight. I could run not winded. I was winded. I just didn't feel right. And for me, being pretty active all my adult life, that was really the wake up call for me. So when I saw that photo, I said, okay, I need to take a step back and get back into the fitness journey that I had before it previously. We all have well intentions, New Year's resolutions. We're all going to stick to it. This is going to be the year I'm going to get back into working out, and I'm going to modify my diet. And then, it never happens. Right. Something busy comes up on your calendar, something work is busy, and you're like, okay, I don't have time to do it. And that's what was happening to me. It was be like one excuse after another. Well, I'm too tired now. I worked 12 hours a day. I just don't feel like going to the gym or working out. And so I actually started to research a lot into plant-based eating. So I noticed that with whole foods, plant-based diet, there's a lot of good scientific data out there, as you're aware, a lot of research that's done that says that, you can actually reverse heart disease, or patients can come off their medications with medical supervision, of course. There's a lot of health benefit to it. And so I started to review that, and I actually saw the documentary Forks Over Knives. That really helped to get me started on the plant-based journey. And of course, then Game Changers later, and now there's a Game Changers 2 coming out.
Which I'm excited for.
Yes, I am too. So that really got me going. And my husband, just to tell you briefly how we met at a dojo. We were both kickboxing at the time. Of course, this was 20 years ago. We were a lot younger and a lot more fit and healthy. And we met at a dojo, and our sensei introduced us, and the rest, I guess, is history. So we got married about a year and a half later. And we, made a commitment to kind of based on our family history, to stay healthy and to try to work out and incorporate what we've learned. But, again, life sometimes gets in the way. You've got the family issues, the work issues. And so it wasn't always easy for us to stick with what we wanted to do. And so with that, I started doing a lot more research online. I was looking at other programs out there, very similar to yours, to Fit Vegan. I can share a story with you without naming the company name, but I did join a group that they made it very clear that they were meat eaters, of course, but that they had an exercise program, they had coaching support, they had vegan recipes and vegetarian recipes, and they were provide a lot of that important coaching that I feel I need to keep motivated. I'm very competitive with myself and with my husband. He'll tell you that. We're very competitive when it comes to working out. If we can best each other on something, we're going to do it.
Yeah.
But it was I guess I didn't ask the right questions. Like, how much coaching support is there? Are you going to be inspiring, encouraging, positive, motivating? I didn't ask all those questions. So I paid a fee and I joined this group. And the first call that we had for new members and existing members, the owner or president of the company was on, just welcoming new members in. And he made it very clear that they were all predominantly meat eaters here. And then they started to really shame those of us that were vegetarian and vegan, which I really was honestly shocked that I was on a call where they were calling vegetarians Twinkie vegetarians, meaning to imply that they're eating a lot of junk foods like a potato chip. It's not necessarily healthy, which is far from the truth. Also, he mentioned heme iron a lot. And heme iron, yes, that is absorbed readily in red meats, but also in a lot of plant-based eating as well, healthy dark greens. And unless you're severely anemic and you need to be on, a supplement or something, it really did not make any sense. He had no scientific data to back up anything. And then he overpromised and underdelivered. You didn't get the coaching support that you thought you were going to get, like you have, with your program, which is really helps to keep me inspired and helps keep me grounded, disciplined, motivates me and encourages me. I didn't have any of that there. The meal plan, there were 5 vegan recipes. That's all. I think there were 10 for vegetarian. And when I called the representative, she said, well, you can modify a lot of these recipes. And I'm like, well, that's not what I signed up for, and what about the coaching support or really lack of coaching support? There was an email that would be sent out once a month. And that was all that they really provided. There was no, the calls might be once a month, but it was welcoming new members. There really was no benefit from it. So I wrote a very critical but very professional email and demanded my money back, and they refunded my money. So they did do that. I guess the reason I'm mentioning this, Maxime, and not to get off topic, is just buyer beware. There's a sea of information out there. It's an information age and everybody's online looking into programs. And there's a lot of these programs that pop up that, you think that they're going to be able to do something for you. There's 2 other programs that I joined and they just kind of fell short for me. One was a fitness athlete. She was a vegan though. So I made sure I went with someone that was vegan. She had some good recipes, good exercises, but there wasn't the coaching support. There was maybe, you can pay for a 1-to-1 session with her on occasion, but there wasn't any weekly check-ins. There wasn't monthly check-ins. There wasn't anything else. So I'm not motivated to stay with it. So I didn't stay with it. And so I just want to tell anyone else that's listening that, there is a lot of these programs out there and a lot of them do promise a lot of results and they do fall short. What I liked about Fit Vegan that seemed to resonate with me was that you didn't overpromise. You said, here's what we can provide you. Here's the support. Here's the resources. It's going to take effort from you, but we're going to provide the coaching and the support that you need, the mentorship that you need. We're going to provide the meal plans for you. We're going to map out your exercise routines for you. Here's some of the successes that we've had. And you didn't overpromise, but you sure delivered. So I just wanted to make sure that everyone is aware that I have done a lot of research out there and I've been in fitness for most of my life. And I can tell you there are other programs out there that just are not, acceptable to what I was looking for in a program. Here I get everything is simplicity for me. So the meal plans, I have my grocery list that's downloaded on my phone. I can shop for the week from my groceries. The recipes are super easy. If you do your meal prep, then your cooking time is cut down. You can batch cook on the weekends. They're very healthy, tasty recipes. The workouts, there's diversity. I was stuck in a rut for a while. I had a favorite workout and I did it for 2 years straight and I wasn't seeing any gains. I plateaued. I was bored with it. This is diversity, kind of shocks your muscles into new growth and kind of breaks that plateau. So you have everything outlined on a calendar. When I get up in the morning and I go to my job, I look, the first thing is on my calendar. What calls do I have scheduled for today? What's on my agenda for today? With your program, it's outlined already for you. I know, okay, this is the workout program I have. It's my upper body. Tuesday's lower body. Wednesday is meal prep. Thursday, upper Friday lower body, and so on. And then there's exercise videos explaining how to do the exercises. You already have the exercise reps and the rep ranges, the weight ranges, what you should be using. And then your coaches check in with you, which is so important for me to keep me motivated. And they, we've had some fantastic coaches here, I have to say. They're just absolutely phenomenal. And they have kept me grounded. They've kept me motivated. If I had a setback, I would get a phone call. I have a Zoom face-to-face call. I'm actually talking to somebody this time instead of an email check-in. So it's nice to, you can pick up how someone really does care about your success. They really want you to succeed. They really care about what's happening in your life. Okay, so you've had a setback. Okay, this week, well, we can, work through this together. And so it was very helpful for me to see that. And so I just wanted to share that with you because I think there is so much of this misinformation out there, so much quackery out there on the internet. You don't know what to believe. You don't know what program to choose. You're not sure what to do. But this program really didn't overpromise, but it delivered a lot.
Yeah. I appreciate you sharing that because, touching a few things I want to say. If you're a vegan working with a non-vegan coach, they're not going to understand what you're going through, right? They're going to say, at least eat eggs or at least eat fish so that you can get your protein, right? Or like whey protein or whatever. They're always going to push a little something. So if you want to be understood, work with someone that can actually, understand you. And, you're right. There's a lot of bad coaching programs out there because it was a new thing that kind of came up. I've been coaching for so long, but it's got a new thing that came up. And people think that it's about the workout and the meal plan, and it's not. The workout and the meal plan is just for the transformation. It has nothing to do with it. It's the actual in-person, personal coaching. It's the mindset. It's all of these things that make the difference, right? Like you've probably heard me say multiple times, your transformation has nothing to do with the training and nutrition plan, because if we don't stick to it, nothing happens. So it's like, how do we help you stick with it? How do we help you stay consistent? Right? Daily group calls, weekly check-ins, monthly calls. Like there's an opportunity every day to be immersed and have a point of contact. That's what keeps you in that world to get there, right? And ultimately, it's not an easy transformation, even though, right, we're there to hold you accountable and show up and you have the plan. You still have to do hard work, which you did.
Mm-hmm. You do. I think there's some level of accountability there, but it's easy. We have such resolve. I don't think people realize that they can do things that they never believed that they could do. And no matter where you're at this point in your fitness journey, whether you're a new beginner, maybe you've never picked up a weight before, or you've never worked out before, or maybe you're, a seasoned, you've been working out, but maybe you've kind of fallen out for a couple of years, you haven't worked out in a while, and kind of the weight's creeped on, and you're like, okay, I need to get back into being healthy again. No matter where you're at your level, this program is excellent for all levels. I think, you can start out, they assess your fitness levels and your goals, what you want to accomplish, what weight you want to lose, where you want to be. And then they customize a program for you. So it works for anyone that's a novice or beginner to someone that is more seasoned, like myself, that may have not been able to work out for 10 or so years. So I think that it's very important to let everyone know that it's very simple. It's very easy. You have all the resources. You have all the support that you need. And it really helps to balance the stress. People don't look at it kind of transitioning into your everyday, incorporating this in your everyday life. Because being tired and run down and feeling sick all the time, if you have a stressful day, you're not easily able to get over that or combat it as well. But if you have a higher self-esteem, I felt so much better. I feel better. People ask me all the time, what are you doing? What have you been doing? Hey, you look great. Coworkers aren't necessarily going to tell you when you start picking up weight. They're not going to say anything.
They're silent at that point.
They're silent on that. But they will tell you when, they notice a difference, in your health or your energy levels or hey, what have you been doing? You look so much better. What's going on? So they will ask. And so I think having, feeling, I guess, better about myself and really having lost that weight and so excited to really be speaking here today. as a testimony as to, this is what can happen, for you as well. You can feel better. You can reach your career and your fitness, your fitness goals and your healthy eating. I don't like to use the word diet because it means restriction, but I like to use nutritional plan. So you can have a nutritional plan and you can get to where you need to be. But I think for me, feeling better about myself, having more renewed energy helps me to get through my everyday to day a lot easier. So if I have a stressful day, I can rebound a little bit easier. I have an elderly parent that I take care of. So being stronger, having more endurance, I can lift her a little more easier. There's things that I can do that help me in my everyday life. So it's very important that everybody, knows that this doesn't just stop here. There's a transition from here. You still have to do the work. You're right. Absolutely correct. You have to put in the hard work, but it makes it so much easier and fun with the plans that are outlined for you, and having those check-ins and having that coaching support is really critical. It's key.
Yeah. Well, again, I'm proud of you for doing these things. And, talking about coworker, me and Ivy, my fiance, have a joke about that. When you start to put on weight, people start to say, you look healthy. Like, you just look healthy.
Exactly.
You're putting on weight if they're telling you look healthy.
They're not going to tell you that, oh my goodness, you look awful. They're going to kind of be very nice about it. They're not going to really say anything. But when you start to shed the weight and you start to feel better and you look better and you're more energized, then it's
you show up differently.
What you've been doing. Too. Yes, you show up, especially, I think there was a story I can share with you. I was at a conference a couple of years ago and I hadn't actually run into this individual until recently. And they were just, you could almost see the mouth opening moment when they saw me, like, oh my goodness, they didn't want to say anything. Like they thought, okay, you were heavy before and now look at you. But it was like, oh, you look great. What have you been doing? And so then you talk to them and you tell them. And I really believe that education is key. Educating people. I think if you preach to them, it's going to drive them away.
They shut off.
They're going to shut off. I think if you educate, maybe arm them with the resources, smart people out there, they can do the research on their own and they can find out what fits best for them. I typically wear statement t-shirts, and a lot of my t-shirts, like the one I'm wearing today, says, stop eating crap and eat veggies. I have another one that says, has a cow's head on it, says, not your mom and not your milk. So when I go out everywhere, rather than to preach or say, hey, this is what I'm doing and this is why you should eat this way, it almost 90% of the time, Maxime, elicits a response for people that will ask me about my shirt, or ask, what does this mean, or ask me about something. And I've had a gentleman just last week who asked me about this shirt, stop eating crap. And he looked down and he said, oh, it says, and stop, start eating veggies. He said, I need to start doing more of that. And then we actually were in a line at checkout. We were just having a good conversation, a very healthy conversation about, well, what do you do? And, and I explained to him, and he goes, wow, you lost that much weight. And what, and I explained to him about the program and about the coaching. And I also explained to him about the diet, I won't say dietary, nutritional change and other things that I'm doing. And he started taking out a receipt, and he was writing on the back of it some of the documentaries. He was writing out Fit Vegan. He said, I'm going to go home and I'm going to look into this. Now, whether he does that or not, I don't know, but at least I got him thinking.
Yeah. Seed is planted.
And the seed is planted. Absolutely correct. And then I had the not your mom, not your milk t-shirt. And I kind of get mixed reviews on that, but
it's a bit more cutthroat. Literally.
It's a bit more like, hey, don't drink milk. But I had a gentleman behind me in a grocery checkout line. His wife was still shopping, and he had 2 giant gallons of milk in his cart. So he looked at my t-shirt and he kind of gave me that smirk, like, okay.
Yeah.
So I'm a very chatty, friendly person. I like to be positive. And so I just started talking to him. Well, how's your day? Well, I really want to get back and watch some of the college games. And my wife wants to be out shopping today on a Sunday, and I'm not really happy about being out here. But he said, that t-shirt, So I explained to him why, if I'm all about compassion and kindness, doing what's humane. And I'm into animal charities as well. So I explained to him that was the main reason I had this shirt on, but that I'm also had cut dairy products out of my diet and really made a big difference for me. Or it actually did make a huge difference for me early on.
Yeah.
So he started listening to me and we had a conversation and I checked out and I started to leave. And when I turned around, I noticed his wife was back at the cart, but he had just come back up. He had gone to the refrigerated section and got a small thing of almond milk. And he put it in his cart and he looked up at me and he winked at me and he said, I'm going to try this. And his wife was like, why are you buying this? And he's like, I'm going to try it. So it got him thinking, as you mentioned, it plants the seed. And so if you can educate more people and bring more awareness, I think not preaching to them, but allowing them to make their own decisions. There's a lot of information out there, scientific data that's compelling research. China study. I mean, I read that called anybody that follows Caldwell Esselstyn
Yeah,
and person heart disease. So I think arming people with that information, they can make the best decision for themselves. But I
for
just
sure.
wanted to make sure everybody knows that it's a buyer beware out there market. So when you're looking for exercise programs, or you're looking for things that are going to motivate you and keep you grounded and really show results, this has been the best program that I found, honestly, in several years that I've tried to get back on my fitness track, my fitness journey. I just was not getting anywhere with any of the other programs out there.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you sharing that. And ultimately, you're right. I just be honest because,
Mhm.
I've done so many transformations myself. Like it is a challenging process to go through. So I don't want to lie to you or anyone. I'll be like, it's going to be the easiest thing you've ever done in your life. It's going to be pretty challenging. Like your head's going to get in the way. All these things are going to show up. And a good indicator of a program is actually good is you just go listen to their podcasts or their like testimonials. If they have three of them, it's an indicator, right? And ultimately, and again, I appreciate you saying all this. And for everyone listening, I'm not paying Cynthia to say this, but she just genuinely
No,
had a
no.
good experience and like saw the changes in her body. And so that says a lot about the methodology, right?
When you go from a size 12 or 14 down to a size 4, that's amazing for me. And I
It's a
know
huge transformation.
it is a big transformation. And you're right, it's a lot of hard work. You're doing a lot of, exercising, challenging your body in new ways. You're having to keep up with your diet. People have food addictions. Sometimes it's not easy for them. I was a cheeseaholic. I can tell you, I can name every cheese out there.
Yeah.
And I love cheese and crackers and I love potato chips. So for me, having to give up dairy, it wasn't easy. I gave up drinking coffee. I have just green tea in the morning and then herbal tea. So there's a lot of changes that you have to make, but you have to want to make those changes. But what's
Yeah.
great about this program is you have the support all along the way. You have the coaching support. You have that face-to-face interaction that's key. You have someone that generally cares about how you're doing and it keeps you focused and keeps you grounded. Okay, so you slip up one day, but hey, we can move on from there. And
Yeah.
it was very important to me. And like I said, it resonated with me. And absolutely, you're not paying me for anything or any endorsement for this, but I just wanted to share my personal experience because I think it was, it's just been an amazing transformation for me, an amazing journey um, with this program. And I've seen such great success and such great results. And I hear it from others on the forum every day. They accomplish their milestones or what they've been able to do. And I think that's amazing. There's so many people out there that have very busy lifestyles. I'm not the only one. Or they have families or they have children and they're trying to balance maybe full-time career and their kids at home. And they might have some additional stressors in their life, maybe family related, like we had both, my husband and I have both been through some traumatic events. And so it's not easy to stay grounded, but having that support with your program is really making a difference from what else is out there, to be honest with you. And then also just the simplicity of it, making everything, very easy, very structured, already outlined for you and to keep you motivated, keep you encouraged, and keep positive, and to keep going.
Oh, yeah. I was going to ask you, like, what's the thing that helped you out the most or that you liked the most? But I think the support would be the answer.
Support was the answer, but also, as I mentioned, everything for me is by my calendar. So
Mhm.
work, everything is by, okay, what do I have to do this morning? And sometimes I'll just be in bed thinking about, oh my gosh, I've got so much I've got to do tomorrow. It's not enough hours in the day to do it.
I get
But I
it.
always look at my calendar. And I think with this program, having everything outlined for me between my meals for the week, my exercise program, the exercise I'm going to be doing, exercises with videos that make it super simple to, have these instructional videos. And here's your program for the month. This is what you're going to do week to week. and it's already on a calendar for you. I think that was very important for me to have it. So it takes the guesswork out of me saying, okay, well, I know I need exercise today, but what am I going to do today?
Yeah.
I'm incorporating my steps in, or I'm incorporating a cardio day. So yes, the coaching support though was very instrumental for me in my
Yeah.
success.
I think people underestimate the challenges that are going to show up. And they underestimate how stressful it is to trying to figure out what to eat, to trying to figure out how to work out, to think like, I'm doing these things. Are they making a difference, or am I just wasting this energy away, not seeing results for, right? Because it's hard to figure out your workout and nutrition when you don't necessarily have that background to kind of get you there. Especially
Mhm.
as the body gets older and changes and bone density starts to go into all of these things, like it just takes a different approach to it. So it removes a lot of stress, but people don't know that it's stressful until it's removed, and they're like, oh, it's so much easier. I just have to show up for the workout. I just have to prep the food and eat it.
I agree. I think it is very stressful when you're trying to guess what do I need to do. I know I need to work out today, but what am I going to do? What rep
Yeah.
ranges am I going to use? What exercises should I be doing? And then even for someone that's kind of a beginner, it's a lot of it could be very overwhelming at first. I can tell you I had some trepidation joining this program only because of the other programs, the results that I didn't have with the other programs. I'm thinking, okay, but it
Yeah.
looked good. You didn't overpromise anything. And once I joined and I had the coaching support, I'm like, this is fantastic. This is phenomenal because it's keeping me going. It's keep encouraging me. And I have everything so simplified and outlined for me that all I have to do is wake up and look at my calendar here in Fit Vegan, and I know what I have to do for the day. I know what meals I have to prepare today. I know what I'm going to be eating. I know what I'm going to be doing. And so it takes a lot of that guesswork out of it. And I think it makes it very easy for anyone to stick to a program where they have everything outlined. It is clearly outlined and defined for them, but they have the support that they need. If they have answers, or they need answers to something, they have questions, they can, reach out to their coaches. Coaches really provide excellent support. I get almost always would get my questions answered in real time. So it was just amazing to have some great coaches that you have here that are really inspiring.
Thank you. Thank you. I would like to dive into your story, but before I go into that, you mentioned like trying multiple programs before and it not working and having some, basically a bit of being scared a little bit to kind of commit to this one. What I tell people is, don't let a bad decision burn you twice. All right. It's not going to be the same. And at the end of the day, I understand that I would say it's a gamble, right? You want to do your research on the coach and the program and get the information. But at the end of the day, you want to work with someone that aligns with you, right?
That's
Because
right.
I could have said our philosophy is something completely different and it wouldn't have aligned and we wouldn't be here. But
Yeah.
I believe, like, again, coming from the cancer world, I believe there's a way to eat whole food, plant-based. We want to disease proof your body. We want to focus on health first and the body second. We want to focus on sustainability. And I think that's kind of what aligned with you. And then now you're able to get that, right? Now I don't like to use that way, but like a before and after, like you're a success story. Now, like people look at you and like, oh my
Embarrassing
God,
before.
Cynthia, how'd you do it?
Yes, my embarrassing before pictures. Yes, it wasn't
You have
really easy
great
for me.
photos.
It wasn't easy for me to share those, really, to be honest with you, because it's a little embarrassing for me, to just kind of see yourself get to that point in your life where you're that out of shape, and to have to really face it and look at it in a picture. Um,
Yeah.
but that just knowing where I've come, where I was before. And it's so rewarding to me. And as you mentioned, this program resonated with me. I know you had some situations, personally with cancer as well. And,
Mhm.
and that and the whole plant-based food, vegan, that really resonated with me. I felt, okay, if I go to another program, I'm going to make sure that it's a vegan program, first of all, and that supports my beliefs and my, what I'm wanting to accomplish. And it just, everything looked good online, but of course, you always have some reservations. Is it going to be another program where they're going to promise all these things? But you really didn't promise a lot. You just really stated factual things. You showed some examples of people that had lost some weight. This is what we can do. We have coaching, we have meal prep plans, we have this. And you delivered. That was the important thing, because I wasn't getting that from all the other programs out there. I was getting bored with them, or they just didn't, they would overpromise and underdeliver. They didn't have the resources that they had said they had. Maybe I wasn't asking the right questions when I was looking online at some of these programs where there was no, okay, yes, we provide coaching support. Okay, what level do you provide coaching support? Monthly
Yeah.
email, that to me is not coaching support, and that's not going to motivate me to want to do more, or to keep me challenged and focused in multiple ways. So
Yeah.
I agree with you.
And a lot of them, for the emails, they outsource to virtual assistants because
Yes.
they don't have to be them, right? We send you a Loom video, so it's our face and our voice. You can't fake that stuff.
Oh,
Right? It's us.
absolutely. Yeah, but
Yeah.
honestly, it's surprising how many do. It
Yeah.
really is.
Yeah. Um, Talking about your husband, because obviously
Yes.
you've been on this journey, and I love working with women specifically because they're the powerhouse of the home, right? And I've said this multiple times
I
in the
think my husband will
podcast.
disagree with you on that, Maxime, but otherwise,
Did he see any benefit out of you starting to eat differently and kind of start exercising? Did he see any changes for himself? I'm always curious.
absolutely he did. I think he's always complimenting me, hey, you've thinned out a lot. You actually have your waist back again. That was one thing that I was so embarrassed about. When you go up in multiple dress sizes and you've picked up so much weight, again, you mentioned, you have a very low self-esteem, and I had a very low opinion of myself. I used to be so fit, and you're thinking, my gosh, what does my husband really think about me? He's not going to tell me, hey, you put on so much weight, or hey, you're getting heavier, or he never said anything to me, but I could see, in his face that he was probably concerned about, okay, you really picked up the weight, you're under a lot of stress, maybe it's the job, maybe, it's what we went through. But it motivated him because he's a meat eater. Will I ever get him to eating 100% vegan? I don't know. That still is a
Just a bit
probability.
more plant-based is a
So a
win.
bit more plant-based, but he actually is now eating 3 plant-based meals a week. And that's from breakfast, lunch, and dinner. He's actually eating a lot of the foods that I cook. So sometimes I'll double batch cook for him.
Yeah.
And it's actually got him started to working out. So his background is he was bodybuilding, and
Yeah.
he not competitive, but he participated in a lot of competitions where he was Southeast champion, and he had a couple of trophies there. And
Yeah.
then
So
he
meat eating is ingrained into his
yes,
identity
that
because
is
he comes from that
ingrained
world.
in bodybuilding. No, you're
Yeah.
absolutely, because I'm not getting enough protein. You
Yeah.
need to eat for protein. So that's really ingrained, and you're absolutely correct. That's ingrained in their mindset. That's what they've been told. That's all they know.
Yeah.
And so for him, I think watching the documentaries, kind of seeing what has happened with me in my own journey here with Fit Vegan, he's been very proud of the weight that I've lost. And it's really motivated him to say, okay, I need to make a change. He has a lot of family cancer runs in his family. And so, you
Yeah.
can't change genetics, but you can help change your predisposition to possibly develop those diseases later in life. If you maintain a healthy lifestyle, you're eating whole plant-based foods, you're exercising, you'll never hear an argument out there about no benefits to exercise. I think everybody agrees on that. But what
Yeah.
they don't agree on is the way to eat. Should I eat keto? Should I eat paleo? What kind of food plan should I be on? What's better for me, meat or
Yeah. 1 meal a day, 6 meals a day,
one meal,
intermittent
6,
fasting.
exactly, fasting, all of these unhealthy practices. So I think you'll see a lot of people agree to disagree there. So I think he's starting to really take notice now and say, okay, I need to get myself back on track. He wants to be healthy again. He wants to have the energy to do things again. For him, it's also about motivation too. So it's
Yeah.
about finding someone that's going to motivate and inspire him. I think I shared with you the photo with Forrest Griffin, who was UFC champ
Yeah.
in mixed martial arts. And he was actually introduced into the Hall of Fame in 2013. When we met, we were at a dojo where this was very serious dojo. This wasn't where people coming in doing a workout. You were serious athletes here. And we knew the owner, and he invited us in. And so we were training there. And then Forrest Griffin actually showed up at this dojo and had an opportunity to train with him. And it really kind of motivated my husband a lot, to sticking with it. And it motivated me as well. I've had gone to the gym before. I've had personal trainers, and it's great to have a coach or a mentor or someone to work with you. Well, now
Yeah.
we're in, in the Zoom world now, we can still have that virtually, and you can still have that support that you need to really keep you grounded and keep you motivated to do things. So you may start to hear from him, wanting to
Oh,
join the
good.
program as well. So yes,
Yeah.
two of my coworkers also, have actually given their names out. So I think you'll probably start to hear from them as well.
Oh, beautiful. Get your husband to go at least a bit more plant-based. And what
Yes.
funny story about couples. I won't say their names, but we had a wife in the program and she lost a bunch of weight. I was looking great. And then I was on a Zoom on a one-on-one call with them. And husband's like, man, you mean my wife looks so sexy? Now I look fat. Now I have to lose weight to keep up with her.
It's exactly. He's grabbing his stomach and he's like, where are my six-pack abs? I don't have those anymore. He's kind of looking down at his own stomach. He's like, yeah, I've gone up a pant size here too. So I think he's like, I think he's very proud of me, and that's wonderful. I feel that his support. I mean, he loves me no matter what, if I'm fat or thin. But I think he saw that transformation. He knew how much happier I felt, how much better I felt, and how much better I looked. And it really started to inspire him to say, hey, I've got to take a step back and look at what I'm doing, how I'm eating, and try to make a change. So he's made a conscious effort. He's doing 3 plant-based meals a week. I'm hoping to extend that to 4 to 5.
Yeah.
Um,
Slow progression. We'll
yeah,
get
it's
there.
slow progression, but I think he'll get there, and he actually enjoys the meals too. So that's a good thing. He enjoys eating.
Yeah. Yeah. And see, like that's what I love hearing, that there's always an impact outside of ourselves, because kind of like what you shared with the shirts, we're as vegans or people that eat plant-based, there's a passion for it because we eat it for the animals and the environment, but also because we
Yes.
saw the benefits for ourselves. Like we feel just so darn good, and then humans
Right.
are at their core good and they want good for others. And I feel so good. I can't keep this for myself. I want to share with everyone. And
Mm-hmm.
so I think the best way to do that, at least that I found throughout the years, is you're naturally a walking billboard for veganism, right? And if you're thriving, if you're feeling good in your body, like that's going to translate. And that's going to have a much greater impact than anything else of being like, you can't eat meat because of blah, blah, blah. Because people just shut down.
They do.
People love to see success and progression and people winning. That's why we love sports. That's why we love all these games. That's why we watch these things, right? We love the excitement of the battle and seeing someone win. And so when there's any form of greatness around us, we are attracted to it. And if you're walking around and people know that you were 45 pounds heavier and they're seeing you now, you're glowing, you have energy, you're showing up differently, that's greatness. And then everyone is pulled towards that. I'm like, hey, Cynthia, what have you been doing? All right. Then that's when the
Exactly.
questions come up.
I agree. I think that's the healthiest way to approach it and really get the word out there. I think it's showing results, just showing, you know, my journey, my own personal journey, and being able to talk to others about it, and showing kind of where I'm at now. As I mentioned, the colleague or coworker I hadn't seen in probably 4 or 5 years. I was like,
Yeah.
wow, I mean, he was trying to contain his surprise without saying, hey, you were very heavy and now look at you now. But he was very complimentary. He said, what have you been doing? How are things going for you? What have you been doing? And so, we sat down for lunch and caught up and explained a lot to him. So, I mean, he was just really amazed. And I think it's the transformation and just how far along that I've come. To others that don't see me on a day-to-day basis. For example, I haven't been a
Yeah.
part of this journey for me. For them, it's just a big surprise because 45 pounds is not a small amount of weight to lose.
No,
So
it's a big amount of weight. And that's why like I'm excited to kind of the photos that you sent me. I appreciate that. There's such a big difference between the two of them.
yeah,
Um,
very embarrassing, but yes,
no,
I
but you
felt
look great. You look great, right? That's what I say. Just focus on the Africa. That's where we're at. We're not
yeah.
reverting back to where we were before. That's the old self, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have a question for you from a career business standpoint.
Sure.
What have you noticed from that side? Because obviously you mentioned your salary and commission based. I know that anyone that is commission based is driven because, or else no one would take a job that is commission based
That's
because it's
right.
hard. Have
Right.
you noticed a difference in your level of productivity and potentially income just from having lost the weight and kind of having that structure?
I would have to say yes, I have. I think my outlook is much better. I think my focus and determination and drive. It's a lot more. I have the energy and the stamina to get through a long workout day. A long work related day, not workout day, but have the opportunity to get through a very busy day and have more time to stay focused on my task at hand, on what I need to do to accomplish my goals for my career. So I set goals for myself and my job sets goals for me. So being able to have the energy to do those and to have the focus and, being able to stay to the task and be disciplined, it's helped me. Absolutely.
Okay, beautiful. Because I'm always curious, like I do believe that fundamentally, if you're able to improve your level of fitness and health, that most people would notice an increase in income.
Mm-hmm.
Because you just show up differently. It just translates better, especially if you're on a commission-based structure and you just are more productive. Therefore, you do more. Therefore, it translates whether you work for yourself or at a job.
I agree. I think having those it's you have the same principles basically, like you do, when you're working out. It's going to be up to you to make it happen, right? You can have all the resources, the coaching support, everything, but ultimately you're going to have some accountability. You're going to have to be able to do it. And the same thing in my career. When I was tired and I was overweight and I was lethargic and I just didn't feel like, really putting that much of an emphasis on what I needed to do to get the job done. But now, yes, I've seen some gains even in my commission structure and my commission level. I have a better outlook. I'm more energetic on these calls, sometimes these very long conference calls that you may not want to be on for the day. A lot more energetic. And when we meet for, which we tend to do on a yearly basis, everyone gets together. And when we meet, there's just so much more, I guess. People kind of see it, you kind of exude it. You have that, hey, I feel so great about myself. Hey, I look so much better. Hey, I've got so much more energy. I feel so much better about myself. And everybody can pick up on that. It's kind of a vibe, I guess. People can pick up on that and they notice that. And I think that it's helped me tremendously to where I've seen some gains in my commission. And I've also been able to work the longer hours without really, feeling like, okay, I'm beat up at the end of the day. It's just too much stress from the work today.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you sharing that. Maybe I should change the model. I'll just take a percentage of the increased income instead for the program versus.
There you go. I agree.
A different business model.
Exactly.
So would love to ask you, because there's people that are listening to this that are still in the program, some people that are previous members that are listening, some people that are still in the program, and some people that are potentially interested in working with us. Do you have any words of wisdom for people that are going through it or that are considering it? Because at the end of the day, I think one is more based on fear, one is more based on it's more of a compliance thing and the shift in identity. So I would love to hear your insights from your journey that you would have for these people.
I think for anyone new that's out there, regardless of your fitness level, where you're at your current fitness level, but I think anyone out there that's looking to be inspired, to be encouraged, to be motivated, to really make a change for themselves, they have to have it in their mindset first that they want to do this, that they want to do something healthy for themselves, and to take the time to do something to treat themselves and do something for their own health. So you have someone like that that's already in that mindset. And I think, as you mentioned before, finding a program that really resonates with them in their belief system. If they're vegan, this is a great program because, everyone is vegan, the coaches are vegan, everyone's eating the same foods. And then also just having the coaching support, which, as I mentioned, to me was critical. So having someone kind of hold you accountable, but provide you with the support that you need, and to really check in with you, to keep you grounded, to keep you focused. I think anyone else out there, this is a fantastic program. And I'm not just saying it because I'm on your podcast today, but I can share with you the actual results that I've had. So I think it's important to share that with anyone that's looking for programs that, out there that, kind of resonate with them and that hold true to what they're looking for. For someone that's already in the program, I think just keeping motivated is probably the biggest factor for most. Sometimes in the forums, I've seen where people would get really busy, or maybe their child would get sick and they weren't able to do the workout. And instead of beating yourself up over it, it's like, okay, we can move past this. Let's move on.
Yeah.
There have been times where I've been really busy and maybe I didn't get my upper body workout in. But what I would do is I would move my upper body to Tuesdays, move my lower body to Wednesdays, take Thursday, do my meal prep, and then Friday, Saturday, and then we get back on track again. So I mean, there's always ways to keep yourself motivated and grounded. I think the coaches help with that, but not to beat yourself up over any setbacks that you might have in your personal life that might prevent you from doing a workout for the day. Or maybe you didn't stick with your meal plan for the day because you were out, you had to travel for the day, or you had something else going on with your kids' school activities. And so you ate, a bagel on the run, or you ate something else that might not be the healthiest for you. Just keeping that motivation, being inspired, keeping positive. Hey, this is just a minor setback. Let's keep moving on. I think that would be what I would tell current members, that we all have those days, and I've been there. But I think for me, it's like, okay, I'm just going to move away from this. This is, a negative piece, and let's move forward, because there's so much more that I can do and that I'm getting a benefit from this program.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you sharing that. There was a question I was going to ask, but you kind of answered it, which is most people fear starting a journey like this because they're like, well, I won't be able to do it 100% perfect. Right. And I always like to be upfront of like, we've never had anyone have a perfect journey. And so I want to ask you, you kind of already answered it, but was it a perfect journey? Did you stick to training nutrition 100% the whole way through?
I would say the 100% no, actually. When I started, I thought I had an injury, I think, with my knee. I think I'd mentioned that before. And so I started a little bit later into the program when I felt that I was, okay enough to start.
Yeah.
When I started, I think the biggest setback for me was the meal prep. So it was finding the time. I think the exercise I was always inspired to, that the competitive nature of me, and having been involved in fitness before, with wanting to get back into exercise. But the hardest for me was the meal preparation and sticking with the meals, because it's, sometimes you have the long days like I've had a 12-hour day. It's hard for you to find the time to start to meal prep or to cook something. And then my husband, who is a meat eater, and eats, vegan 3 times a week, I'd have to cook meals for him that were different from mine. So I'm cooking 2 meals, and I'm sure, people have kids that maybe, they're trying to incorporate that into their eating. And so there's just a lot for me to try to stick with the nutrition side of things. It's not that I went off, started eating meat or anything like that, but it was more having the time to cook these meals, prep these meals, have them ready for me on the go, especially when I get up in the morning. I already have my oatmeal jars. I have, my tempeh, or I have my tofu scramble, or I have everything ready to go. So for me, that was a couple setbacks there. And then a couple times I did have late days or conference calls or conferences that I had to attend, and I wasn't able to get my workout in that day. But as I mentioned, I was able to move that forward to another day and just kind of mix the days up a little bit to get my program in for the week. So there's ways that you don't have to be 100% perfect with this program. I think that's honestly the beauty of it. We all have those setbacks. We all have those challenges, but we move past those and we keep going. It's okay. I had my bag of chips for today. I shouldn't have probably eaten those, but I went ahead and ate those. I love my mesquite avocado wheel chips, so I had a bag of those. But then, you pick up and you move on from there, and you say, okay, I'm not going to eat like this every day. So I'm just going to work out a little bit extra harder tomorrow, or, I'm going to really stay focused on my nutrition plan tomorrow. So we all, I think, go through some of those setbacks.
Yeah, of course. And that's why we structured it so you have enough wiggle room for these things to happen, right? I'm sure you've understood this at this point. And then same thing for your career, same thing for relationship. It's not about being perfect, it's about being consistent, right? Consistency,
Yes,
showing up consistently. If you do that in your relationship, if you do that in your career, if you do that in your health and fitness, will bring you much further than trying to be perfect 100% of the time and then giving up if it doesn't happen. Get a lot better results that way.
I agree with you absolutely on that outlook. Yes.
Yeah. Beautiful. Well, Cynthia, I really appreciate jumping on the podcast with me. Honestly, I'm really proud of you. Again, I never preached that you need 100% of a perfect journey to get amazing results. you had a busy schedule, life happened, and you handled it really well. You lost 45 pounds. You went from like a size 14 to 4'6" for your dress. Like that's a huge difference. And that was all because you trusted the process and you showed up consistently, right?
That's right. That is absolutely correct. You have to put the time and effort into it. Coaches aren't going to do all that work for you, so you have to make it happen for yourself. But it makes it so much easier when you have the support that you have here, and everything's outlined for you, making it very super simple and easy to follow.
Yeah, we love all members. We can't do the squats for them because I just did mine today. So, right, you got to do your own squats.
We can't do deadlifts for you, the squats for you. You have to do those, but we'll provide you with the support that you need to get you where you need to go and to keep you on your career path. I mean, excuse me, I keep saying career path. I'm sorry, on your fitness journey.
That's all right. The fitness, I understand what you're saying. So yes, thank you very much for taking the time to jump on the show. And for everyone listening, again, if you're ready to do the transformation and actually get started, and you're in the right mindset, that's very important. Because if you're not, I'll figure it out on our initial call and I'll tell you that it's not a good fit, right? I always like to be upfront with people. So there's a link down below in the show notes where you guys can book your free call, and it's with me directly. And Cynthia, thank you very much for jumping on the show. Again, I'm really proud of you.
Well, thank you. And thank you for having me. And honestly, I can't thank you enough, and the coaches and what this program has meant for me and what it's done for me. So thank you for all you do as well. And want to get the word out about Fit Vegan and hopefully help some other people as well.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, thank you so much, Maxime, for having me on the call today and explaining about my Fit Vegan journey, a successful journey. And so really appreciate it, and enjoy the rest of your day.